Most men go through life trying to impress women with success, status, or charm. But the truth is, real power comes from understanding what truly influences a woman on a subconscious level. Behind the confidence, the independence, and the mystery, there are emotional pressure points, weaknesses most women don't even know they have. And if you understand them, you stop chasing and start attracting. In this video, we reveal 9 female weaknesses every man must understand to unlock deeper control, confidence, and clarity. Weakness 1: emotional certainty. Behind the layers of confidence, flirtation, and independence, every woman is silently searching for a man who won't crumble under emotional weight. Not someone to solve all her problems, but someone she can't shake. Someone so emotionally solid that her storms don't touch him. Most men try to impress with status, stories, or strength, but real power is how you remain unmoved when she's testing you with silence or emotion or drama. Do you react or do you remain still? Because the moment she feels like she has to carry you emotionally, the clock starts ticking. You've stopped being the anchor and become the driftwood. That's when respect fades. A woman's hidden weakness is her attraction to the man who doesn't lose himself. The man who can sit in discomfort without trying to fix it. Who doesn't flinch when she cries, complains, or pulls away. Not because he doesn't care, but because he trusts himself more than he fears the moment. Think of it like this. The moment you become emotionally dependent on her reactions, she owns the frame. She's no longer safe in your presence. She's responsible for it. And that, right there, breaks the polarity. If you want to become unforgettable, don't chase her moods. Don't match her storms. Become the eye of it. Be the man she turns to, because she knows you don't turn into someone else when things go dark. That's emotional certainty, and it's rare enough to be irresistible. Weakness 2: the mystery of scarcity. Human nature is simple. We chase what pulls away. We devalue what's always there, and attraction dies in abundance. A woman might say she wants you to be open, to always be there, to share everything. But that's not what keeps her interested. That's what makes her feel safe. And safety without mystery is boredom in disguise. Think of the men women obsess over. The ones who don't always respond immediately. The ones who seem present, yet untouchable. The ones who are kind, but unreadable. These men are scarce, not in time, but in emotional availability. Not because they're cold, but because they're full, with purpose, with discipline, with focus. They don't need her attention, and that makes her want it more. Imagine this. 2 men approach the same woman. One showers her with compliments, constant attention, instant replies. The other listens, says less, smiles, and walks away without asking for anything. She may smile at the first, but she thinks about the second. Why? Because he left space. He gave her nothing to hold and everything to wonder. Most men give too much too soon. They overexpose. They over-explain. And in doing so, they remove the one thing that fuels desire: imagination. The man who holds something back, not because he's hiding, but because he's selective, makes her lean in. He becomes a puzzle she can't stop solving, a question that haunts her mind. So remember this: Scarcity doesn't mean silence. It means measured presence. It means not giving away your soul on day one. It means letting her reach, without always meeting her halfway. Because when you give a woman room to wonder, you give her a reason to stay. Weakness 3. The unspoken power of presence. Long before you speak a single word, you've already said everything. A woman feels your energy before she hears your voice. She notices your posture before your story. Your presence walks into the room before your personality ever gets the chance. And that presence, strong or weak, decides everything. Most men underestimate this. They think attraction is in what you say, but the truth is, it's in how you exist. A deep, controlled voice, calm, deliberate movements, a grounded, alert gaze, shoulders back, spine straight, silence held with confidence. These are subtle signals, but to a woman's subconscious, they're everything. They scream dominance, focus, and control. Without effort, weak men fidget, they rush, they fill silence with words. Their posture folds, their voice wavers, and she picks up on all of it, instinctively. Presence isn't volume, it's vibration, the still, unshakable energy that makes a woman pause and pay attention. You don't need to perform. You need to own your space, move with purpose, speak when it matters, and let silence do some of the talking. Because when a man walks in like he doesn't need validation, he becomes the validation. A woman's weakness, she's drawn to presence before personality, and the man who learns to radiate calm command will attract her without ever chasing. Weakness 4. The fear of losing a man who walks away. There's a kind of silence that echoes louder than words. A moment when a man simply turns and walks away, not in anger, but in certainty. And that moment, it haunts her. You see, most men lose the game by playing too hard. They react when they feel distance. They chase when they feel rejected. But the man who values peace over persuasion, who chooses dignity over desperation, changes everything. Picture this. A woman tests a man, maybe subtly, maybe overtly. She disrespects him. She pulls back. She withholds. And instead of reacting, instead of proving, instead of pleasing, he stands, he nods, and he walks away. No words, no drama, just distance. In that moment, something shifts inside her. Not because he punished her, but because he refused to be punished. That's what most men never realize. A woman's fear isn't rejection, it's disinterest. And a man who can calmly remove his energy says one thing without saying it. I was never here to be controlled. This isn't manipulation. It's self-respect weaponized. Because a woman knows, consciously or not, that a man who will walk away from her will walk away from anyone. And that puts him in a category she can't stop thinking about, the unchaseable. So ask yourself this: are you the kind of man who begs to stay, or the kind who's strong enough to leave? Because in a world full of men trying to prove their worth, the man who never begs becomes unforgettable. Weakness 5. The pull of a man with a mission. If a man has no mission, he becomes one. That's the mistake most men make. They make her the goal, the reason they wake up early, the center of their identity. And at first, she may feel flattered, but soon, she starts to pull away, not because she doesn't care, but because something in her instinctively says, if I can distract him from his path, maybe it was never that strong to begin with. Think of a fire in the forest. It doesn't chase attention. It just burns, intensely, steadily, and everything around it notices. That's what masculine purpose is. It doesn't plead, it radiates. A woman feels the heat of a man's mission. And if the flame is real, she'll move closer. Picture this. Two men approach the same woman. One leans in fast, plans dates, sends morning texts, drops everything to be available. The other, he's focused, centered, working on something bigger than himself. He responds, but on his terms. He's present, but not dependent. One man offers comfort, the other offers gravity. And here's the hidden truth. A woman isn't drawn to a man who makes her his world. She's drawn to a man who invites her into one that already exists. Your purpose isn't a passion project, it's a shield. It protects you from overinvesting, from becoming reactive, from losing the frame. When you're on a mission, your time has weight. Your words have focus. Your presence has edge. That's what makes her lean in. Because when she feels that your life is in motion, with or without her, she'll fight to keep up. Weakness 6. The paradox of controlled vulnerability. Vulnerability isn't weakness, but uncontrolled vulnerability, that's emotional exposure without boundaries, and it kills attraction. Most men are either too closed off, or they swing too far the other way, oversharing, venting, unloading. But what most don't realize is this: women are weak for men who open up only when it means something, not when it's expected, not when it's desperate. You see, emotional connection isn't built by telling her everything. It's built by showing her that your inner world is deep, but not easily accessed. That when you choose to open up, it's deliberate, earned, measured. Think of your emotions like a vault, not locked forever, but not wide open either. You let her in, slowly, not to seek validation, not to be saved, but to show her you fought battles and you've won them. That kind of vulnerability doesn't feel weak. It feels powerful. Because when you share scars, not wounds, when you express emotion from a place of control, not collapse, you make her feel trusted, not burdened. Women don't want to carry your emotional weight, but they crave the moment when a strong man chooses to share something real. Not because he needs to, but because he wants to. So ask yourself, when you open up, is it because you're anchored? Or because you're unraveling? Because the man who opens the doors slowly leaves her wondering what's still behind it. And that curiosity, it's one of her greatest weaknesses. Weakness 7, her instinct to test your strength. Most men think she's being unfair, but women test, not because they're cruel. They test because they need to know if you can lead. It's primal, it's unconscious, it's deeply biological. When a woman tests you, she's not thinking, let me play a game. She's thinking, can I trust this man's strength more than my own emotions? And if the answer is no, she walks, even if she doesn't know why. Picture this, you're out with her. Things are going well, but suddenly, out of nowhere, she throws a jab. Wow, You're really confident, huh? You must talk to a lot of girls. Most men make the mistake of defending themselves. No, I'm not like that. What do you mean? Why would you say that? And just like that, they fail the test because they take it personally. They get emotional. They react. But the man who smiles and replies calmly, maybe, or maybe I'm just good at reading energy. That man doesn't explain, doesn't chase approval. He passes the test. Why? Because he stayed centered. And that's what she's looking for. A man who doesn't fold under pressure. A man who doesn't try to be liked. A man who holds his frame, no matter what's thrown at him. Women test in all forms: jealous remarks, emotional swings, pullbacks, and the man who understands the deeper motive will pass calmly, quietly, and consistently. So the next time she challenges your masculinity, your confidence, your calm, don't react, don't compete. Just breathe, hold, smile. Because when you don't flinch, she finally can. And that's when she trusts you, not just as a partner, but as a man. Weakness 8, her attraction to rejection-proof confidence. Rejection breaks boys, but it builds men. Most guys are terrified of rejection. They see it as a reflection of their worth, their value, their identity. But here's the truth. Women are weak for the man who doesn't flinch when she says no. Not because he hides the sting, but because he doesn't attach to it. The man who handles rejection like it's a passing breeze, with a smile, a nod, a calm, all good, take care, instantly sets himself apart. Why? Because he's not playing for validation. He's playing from abundance. And women sense it instantly. Desperate men fear rejection because they've placed their identity in her approval. But confident men, they're simply filtering. They know what they offer. They know that loss is just redirection. And they never lose sleep over a closed door because their mission has more than one. Think of it like this. 2 men approach a woman. One flinches at every word, hesitates, seeks signs of acceptance. The other, calm posture, unattached. If she's open, great. If not, he moves on with the same energy. That second man leaves an imprint because rejection didn't change him. And that kind of stability is rare. So ask yourself, when she says no, do you shrink or do you stay still? Because the man who can walk away with grace often gets chased by the ones who said no first. Weakness 9. Her weakness for the man who controls his desires. Most men are ruled by their urges, lust, attention, validation. They chase anything that looks good. They respond to every signal, and in doing so, they lose all power. But the man who controls his desires, the man who can say no, who doesn't move until he decides something is worth it. He owns the room without chasing anyone in it. That kind of restraint is rare and is devastatingly attractive. A woman's deepest weakness isn't the man who gives her everything. It's the man who doesn't need anything from her, who isn't moved by beauty alone, who has standards, vision, direction. He's not starving for attention. He's focused, and that focus makes him feel untouchable. Think about it. A man who can delay pleasure, who chooses solitude over shallow connection, who doesn't react to every flirt, every touch, every glance, becomes unforgettable. Because when a woman senses that your desires don't control you, that you can feel attraction without being enslaved by it, she knows she's dealing with a different kind of man. And that difference, it creates tension, craving, intrigue. So ask yourself, are you chasing comfort or are you commanding yourself? Because in the end, the man who controls his desires controls everything. A woman's heart is rarely moved by logic, but it is always moved by energy. And when a man radiates control, when he holds his frame in silence, when he walks with purpose, speaks with calm, and moves with discipline, she feels it deeply, instinctively, uncontrollably. The question isn't whether these weaknesses exist. The question is, are you the man strong enough to awaken them? If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to our channel for more Stoic wisdom. See you in the next video.